I realized recently that I had put myself into a styling rule that didn't even make sense for me anymore, yet I was still following it. A few years ago, I decided to stop wearing black. I wanted color. I wanted to understand it, to explore it, to learn working with color and stop hiding behind the black. Slowly but surely, I removed black from my wardrobe completely. And the thing is that while it started as a choice that I consciously made, over time, it somehow became a rule. Until at some point, I realized that I was missing it. I wanted to wear black again. I started noticing more people wearing black, how they wear it, how they layer it, how they style it. I was developing this curiosity, this desire to explore black again, but I had this voice in my head saying, whoa, 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 we don't wear black. We should move on. And that's when it hit me. I'm not even making a choice anymore. I'm just following a rule. I think that happens a lot when you start working on your personal style. It's a process of figuring out what works, what doesn't, and eventually you find out the shapes, the silhouettes that work best for you, the colors that complement you best. And you kind of create your own capsule wardrobe, your own system, your style. The essence of this is actually very helpful. I had a period of time where my wardrobe was extremely small, very, very minimal, very controlled. And the reason for that is that I needed it. I was in the process of actively figuring things out, of learning what works for me and what doesn't, understanding the proportions, colors, and styles that work for me. I stripped everything down to bare minimum and allowed myself to be on that journey to just understand what I like and what I hate. Rules are very helpful in the beginning. They're super useful. But if you never move past them, they might start limiting you. Personal style is not a box that you put yourself into. It's your ability to make choices. And that's exactly what happened with this fabric. This is cotton linen blend that we got in a shop, and I kept circling around it for months. I fell in love with it instantly. It has the most beautiful texture. It's kind of smooth and soft and a bit stiff at the same time. It even smells like nature. Like everything about it was wow. But remember that I was living in a box that said, we don't wear black. Eventually, the lid opened a little bit and I thought, you know what? I could make myself a black dress. Because it's a dress, a standalone piece, it doesn't have to work with anything else, and I could just have a black dress. By the way, I documented the process of making it in this video here. But after making that dress, after working with this fabric, I fell in love with it even more. And then all winter, I kept thinking about this fabric. I kept imagining all the garments I could create with it. But I kept telling myself, no, there is no point making anything black because you won't have anything else to wear with it, and you don't need a second black dress. That's just stupid. Don't do that. Until at some point, I just went, you know what? That's enough. I want this. This fabric inspires me, and I won't be holding myself back simply because once upon a time I made myself a silly rule. And I don't want just to make another dress. I want a small black capsule. And not because I have to, not because it fits the system, just because I want to. I light up when I'm thinking about it. It makes me feel inspired and alive. And so I did. On top of that first dress, I also made myself a pair of culottes and a pair of shorts. 1, 2, 3 shirts and this dress. So now I have 7 garments made with the same fabric, and I adore every single one of them. I'm so happy that I broke out of this mental prison that I created for myself, because this time I know exactly how and why I want to wear black. It feels intentional. This experience taught me something very important about my personal style. I actually don't want to have a capsule wardrobe. It doesn't work for me. It feels restrictive. Instead, I'm building a few smaller ones so that all the pieces in each capsule, they work perfectly within the capsule, but they don't have to work between each other. If I don't like mixing black and color, that's okay, because my color pieces work together and my black pieces work together. Problem solved. And this has removed so much unnecessary pressure, because in the beginning, when you start working on your style, it's so useful to learn the rules. What works with your body? What works with your proportions? What colors work best for your complexion? It is structured and it's clear. That's why it's so important. It creates creates a solid base. But the real joy comes later, when you understand the rules well enough that you can decide when to follow them and when to break them. And there is a great liberation in understanding that when the fabric works for you, you don't have to limit yourself to one piece. You can continue working with the fabric. You can repeat it as many times as you want. If it works, it works. You can experiment with different designs and different shapes. You can go so much deeper in your design process the more you learn about the same fabric. It's not limiting, it's quite the opposite. It's pretty liberating. Working with the same fabric doesn't mean that you keep repeating yourself. It means that you keep exploring the possibilities of it. And I think that the biggest shift for me here was that I stopped being loyal to some idea and I started being loyal to myself. I started listening again. What do I want? What inspires me? Instead of listening to a rule that I created and that wasn't even relevant to me anymore. You don't have to be this one thing. You don't have to stay loyal to a version of yourself that doesn't serve you anymore. It's called personal style for a reason. It's supposed to be personal. And honestly, if this fabric doesn't sell, I'm keeping all of it.